What is going on, guys? It's Nick from Surfcasting Island back at you with another video. Today's topic of discussion is going to be headlamps. It's a rather, in my opinion, an overlooked topic, just like my previous topic in which I spoke upon surf bags, that being belt bags as well as shoulder bags. I will be releasing a video sometime in the near future how I currently dress my belt, as well as which bags I'm going to be using for the 22 spring and fall season coming up. But without further ado, let's get into the topic of discussion. So I'm well aware in the beginning of this video I mentioned headlamps, but that's not going to be subject to only lamps and lights that project out on your head. So as far as I'm concerned, there are two different styles you can go with, and I will go into depth about them. That being obviously headlamps, like I said, something you wear on your head, as well as neck lamps, which would act as a necklace and something you could shine with your hand or hold with your mouth, so on and so forth. So this is obviously going to be a dusk dawn night shift type of conversation. There's no need to use a headlamp when you're out there during the day. So you can see, obviously, you got the sun and sun rays beating down on you and whatnot. So this is going to be a very effective video in which I'm going to be discussing, because this is mainly when I'm going to be able to fish due to my demanding schedule at work, 5-6 days a week, 9 to 5, 9 to 6, so on and so forth. So the majority of my fishing is going to be during the week, on those late hours, sometimes those non-human hours that I refer to them as, and many other surfcasters refer to them as. But without further ado, the first one I'm going to show you is a headlamp. I believe this is Zero Dark. It's a 3-strap. I know some of them have 2-strap, 3-strap, doesn't matter to me. I rock both. So what are the benefits of using a headlamp? For one, they're pretty much hands-free. You could obviously, like any other headlamp on the market, it toggles up and down. So you get a fish on, toggle it down. I usually, general rule of thumb in my regards is I don't turn the light on until I hook up and get a fish close. I really don't like keeping my headlamp on, projecting out there for some obvious reasons, which I'll talk about, but you also don't want to be that guy. And I'll talk about that guy as a general term because I've been that guy, and I'm sure many of you have made the same mistakes I have, and I'm just trying to better myself and understand that there's certain unspoken things about that you do and you don't do in terms of night fishing. But the one thing that I do like about headlamps as well is that they usually have a red light toggle. This one does not. I believe it doesn't, but it's pretty bright. Very, very good for when you get a fish close or you can't see. You're fishing on a new moon, very dark nights. Full moon, sometimes I don't even use my headlight because it's so bright. People think dark all the time. I talked about this in previous lectures and videos that full moon gives off a lot of light and a lot of reflection off the water. People think dark all the time, this and that. It's only dark if it's overcast or you're on a new moon. Those are pretty much the two exceptions to that. Obviously this one has the flashing SOS. But back to what I was talking about, the red light. Red light is good because, in theory, hypothetically speaking, I've heard through forums, I've done my research and whatnot, bass can't see red light, which is a good thing. The visibility is not great, it's not outstanding, but you can see slight outlines of your hands, the rod, the fish when you get it close. So if you're someone that likes to fish with their light on all the time, I would go with a headlamp and keep it on the red light, which brings me to the point about being that guy. It's usually frowned upon when you're out there, and especially in a lineup. You're walking into a lineup and you're walking in between people trying to find a spot, and you're like the Montauk Lighthouse. Okay, that's not cool. these fish, especially striped bass, are very keen on light, motion, sense, and other types of sensory. They're whatever the five senses that we have, smell, touch, taste, so on and so forth. I'm not gonna get into it, but they feel just like we do. So I'm gonna bring this up because I brought it up in one of my previous lectures that fish just adjust to the light at night just as well as they adjust to it during the day. So if you're fishing around, let's say, a new moon, you want to throw dark colors because they're adjusted to, you know, that darker night around that moon phase, those 5-6 days where it's very, very dark at night, as opposed to a full moon where it's very bright and you want to throw a brighter color, a brighter dart, or a brighter SP minnow, because, excuse me, the bass are keyed in on brighter colors, a brighter night. That's contrary to popular belief, but there's a good amount of people that do believe that, the inverse, that you want to throw darker colors on a brighter night and brighter colors on a darker night, and that couldn't be further from the truth. But, you know, being out there, shining a light in between people, especially, you know, many people, or someone's fishing a spot before you, that's going to throw the fishing off. Skinner also did a video on fishing with a headlamp and without a headlamp on, and the amount of fish and his fish hookup ratio was swung dramatically, and when he had the light on as opposed to when he had the light off, which was much more productive. But like I said, I would recommend a headlamp to someone that isn't comfortable fishing in the dark, because you know, it's totally different out there at night. It's a totally different ball game. It's a lot different from fishing during the day when you can't see 15 feet in front of you many times when you're fishing out there at night. But like I said too, keep the red lamp on, keep the red light on. Don't shine that big bright light. I used to do it. I was very guilty of it at times. I feel bad looking back on it now, but you know, the only time I like to bring that light on, like that really bright light on, is I always point it down and away from the water when I get a fish on. Second that fish is taken off, thrown back in the water, released, gone, turn that red light on. If your headlamp does have it, like I said, this one doesn't have it, but I'm just saying for reference, get yourself a one with a red lamp if you can't fish with, if you're not comfortable fishing without one. So I usually wear this on my hat, or if I don't want to get hat head, I don't have a hat, I'll pull my hood over, then I'll put the lamp on. So it works great. Also, that scenario works best with a hat and a hood, especially the one that has the 3-prong, because that's the one that usually messes up my head. But that's minor details. We don't really have to worry about that too much. We're fishermen. We're down with getting down and dirty. It's, you know, it's what we do out there, surf casting. It's very rough. But now I'll get into neck lamps and how I rigged up mine. All right, so now the discussion is going to shift more towards neck lamps and something you wear as a necklace around yourself, displayed off your chest in a downwards motion. And this is pretty much what I use now. This is also a zero dark, as you guys could see. I got those two together in a package deal. It was a great price. Like I said, I use a different headlamp if I'm gonna go back to using them more consistently, one that has a red light. This just so happened to come at such a good price with the other one. Now you're gonna see that I have a lanyard. Some guys use surgical tubing. I just so happened to have a lanyard laying around that was bare, had nothing on it, so I said, why not give it a shot, experiment with it. All I did pretty much was I took hockey tape. You could also use rock tape or electrical tape, whatever's very rough and rugged and will stay on for a long period of time until you have to change the battery, so on and so forth, or if you want to change the type of lining you have on your lamp. But all I did was I took the two spare ends and I taped it very rigorously around the top opposite side of the flashlight. Again, very bright. flash. Obviously, you have to use your hands or your mouth if you got a fish on, if you're trying to look where you're going, walking down a path. But I believe this one also has the, well, you gotta toggle through. It has the SOS, and then it has the chest one, which is pretty cool. It's like a lantern almost. So it's a multi-purpose flashlight. Very, very strong materials. I don't know if they're a high-end graphite or metal. It gets pretty cold in the cold weather, so it's got to be some sort of graphite or metal and not plastic, which is what I want. You want a high quality thing. The more you pay, the better. You know, the longer and the better it'll be that it'll last. But you know, unlike the headlamp, what I would do is put my surf top on, whether it's my Stormer, Guy Cotton if it's cold. If not, if I'm just wearing a sweatshirt, I'll just take the lanyard because it's pretty flexible. Put it over the hood, tuck the hood like that. Put the hood over the back of the lanyard. I'm good to go now. It's very accessible to me. I never shine my light out that much anymore. Even when I do get a fish on, I wait, like I said in the first half of the video, that I would wait very close, turn away from the water to unhook that fish instead of projecting it outwards like that. Say if I'm taking the fish off now, well, that's easy. All I do is, you're good to go. You know, you just put it in your mouth and it works out great. You could also look, if you had to look where you were going, you could still stick it in your mouth if your hands are tied up with a rod, reel, bag of fish, so on and so forth. So personally speaking, now that I'm more experienced with fishing at night, since that's what composes the majority of my fishing schedule, since the daytime kind of conflicts with my work schedule, this is just something I have to adjust to. But on that note, that pretty much covers this video. I would recommend a neck lamp to someone that's a little more experienced and, you know, intermediate towards being closer to an expert on fishing at night. I'm more of an intermediate. I'm still getting into this stuff, but I know a fair amount of what it takes to fish at night and the dedication that it takes. So I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, share with, you know, as many people as you'd like. I really want to, you know, get the word out there. I'm trying to, you know, influence people on how I fish, get people into the sport. Also follow my public Instagram page at surfcasting_the_island. Thank you and have a nice night.